Hamburg, gateway to the world, loading bay for goods and people. At one time, many Germans left their homeland from here. By force of poverty and unemployment, they boarded ships and sailed to faraway lands to seek their fortune. Nowadays, it's the other way round. Germany has become a magnet, attracting women and men in the hope of a better life. At Hamburg's welcome point, we meet one man who knows better than any other the hope of people who come to Germany to improve their lives. Father Willie Escalante is a missionary of the Divine Word, and he gives counsel to his fellow Filipinos.
I would say 90% of the Filipinos are Filipinas working or living here in Germany, in Hamburg. I would say are professionals, teachers, nurses. Some others are generally graduated college or universities. In the Philippines, they work as professionals. But here, in Hamburg, they work as Putzfrau, or people who are just cleaning houses and toilets and so on. Why they sacrifice their profession, for example, by coming to Hamburg, I think it's more on the idea that by working in Hamburg, they earn much more money than working as a teacher, for example, in the Philippines.
Father Willie's congregation is unusually large. His parish reaches into the most northern cities of Germany. It includes around 7,000 Filipinos. He performs baptisms and marriages, visits them in hospital, some of them even in prison. Time for prayer. The Filipinos come before God with their priest to share their worries and concerns. Especially when they are so far away from home, faith takes on even greater significance.
The feeling of being at home is there, and this is the Filipinos would like to have. The feeling of, this is the kind of Mass that we want. Not just an English Mass, but a Mass that we can feel as our own.
The priest is invited to spend the evening with the family. It is a Philippine characteristic that the host feels particularly honored when the guest behaves as if he was at home.
My pastoral approach in my being chaplain for migrants is very simple. It's just to be with them and to be part of their day-to-day activity. Talking to them and even cooking with them and eating with them, of course, no? And this is what my experience about them, that it's so positive that if you make yourself part of what they are doing every day.
We are on our way with Father Willie to one of the particularly sensitive parts of his work. We're visiting Filipinos who live out of sight. They have no papers and have to live in the shadows. Without a residence permit, they live in constant fear of being discovered and deported.
I decided not to go home because, in Philippines, when you have work or you have no work, it's almost the same. We are 8 in a family, and I'm the third, and I was also the breadwinner. So much help I must take to them, to give them. My first year was I was really nervous because I didn't know what's life behind me, and I'm also afraid that I will be back. I will be caught and sent back to our home. And when I go back to Philippines, then I really cannot help my family.
First time when I arrived here in Germany, Of course, no, I don't know how to speak German. I can't really understand everything. And then I'm always getting nervous, no? Every time I have to walk in the street, the moment I saw these police authorities, I'm always getting nervous, no? I just come here just because of the life in Philippines is so hard, not to support the family. Our country is poor country, so we have to go out. We have to go out because we have nothing to eat also, Philippines. The government is rich and the people are poor.
Although they have fear, but they keep on working every day, cleaning houses and so on, and factories and so on. There is fear, but there is this desire to work, to earn. This is the kind of risk that they are taking, because this is the only way that they can get money and keep for themselves in the future and send something to the Philippines. There is always fear, but this is the risk.
Evening Mass during the week. Many illegal immigrants come here as well, so that they can celebrate Mass with Father Willie. We have not filmed them in order to protect their identity. Going to Mass is a form of escape for the illegal immigrants, a place of peace.
I know Father Willie for almost 5 years also. It helps a lot because, without it's like we call it a spiritual advisor, which really can help us to be stronger every day.
If there is no Filipino priest, if the German priest is there, and of course the Filipina who is working here without papers, she would not dare to talk to, maybe she would have some doubts to talk because he is a German or whatever. But for somebody who is a Filipino like me, then there is this question of trust. Then there is this, then I trust Father because he can help me.
An airport in Germany. For most people who come here, it is enough to have a ticket and a stamp in their passport, and they can travel to every country on earth. For those without papers, there is no chance of visiting their home. If they leave Germany only for a couple of days, then the doors are locked behind them forever. There's no coming back. They live between two worlds. The missionary, Willie Escalante, wants to build bridges between those worlds.
When I go for holidays, I try to visit some families whom I can reach. Families of Filipinas, especially Filipinas or Filipinos who are undocumented in Hamburg, and visit their families. And this is my way of trying to relate to them, because their mother or for example the father would not be able to go home because they are undocumented. And this is my way of trying to tell them and to reach out to them how the mother is really trying hard to work hard for them. This is to make them feel that they are not being left behind for good, but they are being left behind for something very noble for themselves, not for the mother or not for the parent who is here in Hamburg, who is until now undocumented. So this is, I would even say, this is part of my apostolate, and I love doing that because this is one way of trying to make a connection between the absent parent to the children who are being left behind back in the Philippines.
However, the missionary also tries to bring attention to the fate of the illegal immigrants on a political level.
Several times we attempted to help them in this regard, especially in the aspect of organizing ourselves and eventually passing some kind of a suggestion to the government to have some kind of a selective or selected amnesty for the Filipinos who are undocumented.